Have you ever wanted to run from something God asked you to do? Jonah tried. He boarded a ship, sailed in the opposite direction, and thought he was free. But God had other plans. What happened next would trap Jonah in complete darkness for 3 days and change him forever. This is the story of a man who learned you can't outrun God's love.
Hello, friends. Thank you for being here again.
We appreciate your support, and because of you, we are growing.
Continue to watch, like, comment, and share, because every bit helps us reach more people with hope. Now, let's get back to the story.
It all began with a call from God, a call Jonah never thought he'd hear. One quiet day, as Jonah sat alone, the presence of the Lord filled the room with a warm, unmistakable glow. And God said, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and tell them to turn from their evil ways." But Jonah didn't want any part of it. Nineveh was dangerous, violent, the last place he wanted to go. So instead of obeying, Jonah stood up, grabbed his cloak, and ran. Not toward God's will, but away from it. He hurried to the port city of Joppa, where the harbor buzzed with voices, merchants, and sailors preparing for long voyages. Jonah paid for a ticket to Tarshish, the exact opposite direction of where God told him to go. He stepped aboard the ship, avoiding every glance, hoping God wouldn't follow him across the sea. But God did. As the ship sailed farther from land, the sky grew dark. Winds picked up. Waves began to slam against the boat with terrifying force. The crew panicked, shouting, throwing cargo overboard, begging their gods for help. But nothing changed. Down below, Jonah slept, as if running from God had exhausted his soul. The captain stormed down and shook him awake. "Get up! Call on your God! Maybe he will notice us!" When they cast lots to find the cause of the disaster, the lot fell to Jonah. And suddenly, the truth came pouring out. Jonah looked at the crew with shame and said, "This storm is because of me. I ran from the Lord. Throw me into the sea, and the storm will stop." The men didn't want to, but the waves grew fiercer. So with fear and sorrow, they lifted Jonah and tossed him into the raging waters. The moment he hit the sea, everything changed. The wind stopped. The waves stilled. The ocean went quiet. But Jonah did not rise to the surface. He sank deeper and deeper into the cold, dark water. Just when breath left his lungs, a massive shadow moved toward him. A great fish prepared by God himself. With one enormous sweep, the fish swallowed Jonah whole. Inside the belly, Jonah found himself in darkness unlike anything he had ever known. The walls around him pulsed like a giant cave. Only a faint bluish glow lit parts of the chamber. There, in the place he never expected to be, Jonah finally broke. He prayed like a man who had reached the very end of himself. He cried out, "From the depths of the grave I called to you, and you heard my voice. I will turn back to you." For 3 long days and nights, Jonah prayed. And on the 3rd day, God gave the fish a command. The fish swam toward the shore, opened its mouth, and launched Jonah onto the sand with a wet, exhausted thud. And again, the word of the Lord came to Jonah. "Go to Nineveh." This time, he listened. Jonah walked mile after mile across hot deserts until he reached the enormous city of Nineveh, a city so big it took 3 days to walk through. He stood in the center of the streets, took a deep breath, and shouted, 40 days from now, Nineveh will be destroyed. People stopped, listened, whispered. The news spread fast, from the poorest homes to the grand halls of the king himself. And something miraculous happened. Instead of laughing, instead of ignoring Jonah, the people believed him. Families knelt on the streets. Merchants shut down their shops. The king removed his royal robes, bowed low, and called the entire city to repentance. For once in their violent history, Nineveh humbled itself. And when God saw their change of heart, he had compassion. He spared the city. But Jonah, he wasn't happy. He climbed a hill outside the city and sat there, angry and frustrated. He didn't want God to show mercy to Nineveh. He wanted them punished. So he sat under the blazing sun, arms crossed, complaining. But God, in his kindness, caused a leafy plant to grow above Jonah, giving him shade. Jonah smiled for the first time in days.
Then, the next morning, God sent a tiny worm. Just one. It chewed through the plant and it withered away. The shade vanished. The sun burned hotter. And Jonah grew miserable again. Then God spoke to him softly, a voice not of anger, but of love and correction. Jonah, you cared about a plant you didn't plant or grow. Should I not care about the people of Nineveh? Over 100,000 souls who don't know right from wrong? Jonah sat quietly, humbled. He finally understood. God's mercy is bigger than his anger. God's love is greater than his fear. And God's compassion extends even to those we think don't deserve it. The story closes with Jonah sitting on that hill, looking out over a city he once hoped would fall, now saved by grace. A reminder to every one of us. You can run from God. You can resist him. You can hide. But his mercy will always be faster, his compassion deeper, and his plan greater than anything we imagine. Jonah's story isn't just about a prophet and a fish. It's about a God who never gives up on people, even when people give up on each other.